Good evening, everyone. As you can see, it's a bit of a lo-fi setup for me this evening. It is Monday, and it is time for Retro Gaming Revival presents Mod Cons. How are we, chaps? How are we doing?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, all good. I seem to be having a weird issue with my green screen, so if I move too much, it just goes whoop.
There you go.
That's so I'm going to stay pretty still for the show.
So as you can see, I have a delightful background of a Premier Grim in sunny Beckton, which is delightful.
Where's Beckton?
Oh, it's London. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit of a crap hole, but we're all good. We're all good. But yeah, as you said, Blunners, earlier in the week, actually, it's or earlier last week even, regardless of anything, we've got to have a mod cons because there's just too much to talk about. There's too much to talk about. So yes, I'm not able to see any of the chat, so I'm going to be heavily relying on them coming up on the screen. Good evening, Mr. Rob. How are we doing? And Mr. Noyce in the house. I'm so sorry I didn't get to your birthday at the weekend, dude. Mag, always wonderful to see you. Mr. Gold how are we doing, good sir? Yeah, excellent.
He's only here to promote his OnlyFans.
I'm gonna be signing up to that straight away when we go. As soon as this is done, I'm going straight over, signing up to Gold 2's OnlyFans. So it's going to be a bit weird for me. I'm just going to be totally running on Blunners, putting up all the different areas and things that we're going to be talking about. So as always, we will kick off with what have you been playing? So let's go to Tim first today. Tim, what have you been playing?
Well, I was kind of in that limbo between games. I always do this. I'll finish a game and then I'll jump around loads of games before I get right now. I'm going to stick with this game until I've finished it. And I've decided to stick with Hogwarts Legacy because I was quite enjoying that. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dedicate some time to this and play through it because it's had quite a lot of good reviews and stuff. And so far, it's fun. I get the appeal of it. It does, in a way, and I guess because you're in a school and stuff, it feels like the whole game is like a big tutorial. Like you're constantly being shown how to do things. So, God, this is how you do this spell. Let's do an activity. You practice the spell, then go to this teacher and he'll teach you another spell. It feels like you're just in the tutorial for like the whole game. But it's quite enjoyable. So I'm enjoying that. I'll probably dip in and out of some other stuff in the meantime. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick with that. I had some advice actually. I watched one of those videos. Whenever I go into a big game, I always quite like those ones where people do things I wish I knew before I started playing the game. And I watched a video on 10 things I wish I knew before I started playing Hogwarts Legacy. And one of the big tips was don't go looking for stuff until you've got to a certain point in the game where I think the season changes and you get a broom and then you can fast travel and stuff. Because you have to unlock different abilities. And one thing in the game is that there's loads of collectibles everywhere. But a lot of the collectibles are nearby, but you can't reach them until you have a certain skill. So they just suggest just don't bother looking for stuff until you've unlocked all the skills and then start looking around, which I think was some good advice because there's loads of chests. Oh, there's a chest in this room. You can't access it until later. But the game doesn't tell you that. So you could be wandering around aimlessly for ages trying to get hold of a chest. So that's pretty fun. That's what I've been playing.
It's kind of like Metroidvania kind of thing. So you've got to come back to it later.
A lot of it is in Hogwarts Castle, so you're obviously in Hogwarts itself quite a bit, and you go around all the different corners. Hogwarts is pretty big, and a lot of it takes place going to lessons and stuff. But then there's the towns around outside. I don't think it's imperative to be a Harry Potter fan to enjoy the game, but it probably helps if you recognise the locations because part of the fun is walking around Hogwarts and just getting to look around. If you're a big fan of the franchise and you recognise all the different scenes and where it's set years before, I'm not sure whereabouts it's set, but it's set long before the events of the films and the books and stuff. There's quite a few character names, some of the teacher names are, their surname is a character from the books that you would recognise. So lots of Easter eggs and stuff in there. But even if you weren't a Harry Potter fan, I think it's an all right game. It's a weird one. I don't feel like it's a massively groundbreaking game. You've got a lot of people talking about it. It's all right. I wouldn't say it's blown my mind, but it's fun enough. I'll see how I get on with it.
Amazing. I mean, that's going to make its way onto the Game of the Year edition when that comes out. It would just say, Tim, Retro Gaming Revival. It's good enough.
Not just good enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing it, so it's piqued my interest enough. But when you're playing a game and the whole time you're playing it, you're just like, my God, this is brilliant, and you're absolutely loving it. Like Spider-Man. I'm sure we'll get on Spider-Man 2 at some point on this show. Super looking forward to it. This, I'm not I can't wait to pick up and play some more Hogwarts. I'm like, I've got nothing on this evening. I'll play some more Hogwarts. So the tone of my excitement is a lot lower, but yeah, it's still good.
Restrained, okay, because it is on my list of things to play. I just haven't gotten round to it yet. So
yeah,
I'll pick it up.
Adjust your expectations. I would adjust your expectations because it got talked about a lot, like it was a big deal. And yeah, I think it's all right. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but that's just me. Give it a try yourself. Neil Buchanan it.
Neil Buchanan, give it a try.
Try yourself.
Okay, Mr. Blunners, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing, still playing a bit of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Basically the what was it? What's it called again? The Jet Set Radio kind of spin-off game. Yeah, still really enjoying it. It's really hard because you have like some things that are just out of reach, and it still has like kind of like the clunky controls like a Jet Set Radio game used to have. You're trying to like make them turns, but I think I spoke about that on the last episode. So I've also been playing a bit of F-Zero 99. A couple of people in the chat watched me play it last night. Rob watched me playing it, and so did Goldtooth. It's amazing. So like, if anyone, I don't know if you've played the 99 series games they've brought out before. So you had you had Tetris 99. You then had Super Mario 99 as well. And whereas this one, F-Zero 99, it is just nuts. Like you have to just focus on like the track in your car because there's just so many flying around. But yeah, it's brilliant. It just brings you back. Like it's got a little extra mechanic where you like can spin your car. You can spin your car and bang people into the sides.
Nice.
You can at the minute you can only pick the four OG original cars, so like your Falcon Wing and that. So and then when you start the tracks, you're actually off in this like there's like loads, obviously 100 of you lined up, and you're having to go, and then you make this jump into the track. Now you're on the track racing, and like before, they've introduced lots of other little things like these little cars that will blow up if you touch them. They'll like bomb. They'll take some damage off you. Obviously, if you boost, that uses up your shield as well. And then you collect these little gold bits, and sometimes there'll be a car that if you hit it, it's like bright gold and it's flashing. If you hit it, it then starts to build up this bar, and then as soon as that gets up, you'll press boost. It takes you up into the sky, and then you're basically on this like separate path that you can't come off. And there's loads of boosters on it, so you can boost your way in. And obviously, as it's a 99 game, you start at like obviously 95 and lower. If you're 95 and lower, see you later. Then it goes to 90, then it goes to 85, and then the track's done. But what it does is it gives you like 4 or 5 rivals, which you've got to try and beat or try and like outlast. Basically, all I do is just try and outlast them. I like try and keep my shield up as long as I can. Get to that last lap, and then just like try and hammer it, not too much, but as long as I get around near the end of it, just literally hammer my boost to get me over. But there's like a token system, so like you have to use tokens to get into the Grand Prix. But yeah, it's just brilliant, and it was dropped. We'll talk about it later, but it's free. If you're a Nintendo Online subscriber, you get it for free. So yeah, it's just literally just download it and play it. So anyone wants to join me, let me know, and I'll give you my friend code. But yeah, really
nice.
Good. Also been playing Elias Awakening as well. Started off. Got a bit lost at one point, thinking like remember Tim saying like, what the hell do you do? Kind of thing. trying to work out where do I go, what do I do. So, but I'll talk about that more when I'm on Ryan's Evercade show in the next week or whatever. But yeah, they're the two I've been playing at the minute. Kind of need to get back to Zelda because I still haven't fully finished it. I'm ready to go to the final boss, but I need to. There's still some stuff I want to, like some side quests and all that I want to mop up, but that's a shame because I've kind of like, was it Hunter's put here that he's currently playing Starfield. This is another game I'm dying to play, and I'm even like, do I just chuck a tenner and get re-up my subscription again and just to download this game to play. So yeah, it is
first world problems.
I know.
Do you have a Series X or are you on Xbox One?
I've got them all. Yeah, so
You got them all. So, yeah, because I've only got it on one, and you can play it, but only online. So you can't download it. You can only stream it. I've attempted to play it twice, and it just says I'm in a queue waiting. And there's a bit that said like, oh, it's like a 15-minute wait, and the 15-minute wait message was on there for like half an hour. I went off and did some other stuff, and they came back like, yeah, it's still going. So I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but that's on Xbox One. So I don't know if anyone's had any luck playing it on an Xbox One. But it does seem to allow you to. It's just not launching. It says there's too many people playing it at the moment.
Too many people playing it. Dang.
It's had a lot playing it.
So I'm just having a quick look through the comments there. No, it's not Dorbs. Actually, it's just my sunny room in a Premier Grim, mate. Shocking.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, interrupted you, Tim. There.
No, I lost my train of thought for a moment, but I'm back on. Just thinking, in a way, it's weird because if I do get a chance to play it and I really like it, that's going to be even more annoying because every time I get to play it, what if that happens again and again? It's like, what this random chance if I get on it or not? So it doesn't look like that solution for playing it is ideal. So obviously, if you got it on Series X, you can actually download it and play it off of Game Pass. But if you're only on the Xbox One, you can play it, but only from streaming it. So at the moment, I've not had any luck.
Dang, it's the game. I mean, I'll ask Harry. Like, how is it? Is it good? I mean, I've heard that you need to sort of really sort of punch through the first 6 hours, and then it kind of opens itself up to all the grandeur that it can be. Is this a system seller? Is this what's going to make people buy the Series X? I don't know. I still don't have a Series X yet, so
I hope it does. I hope it does because the only thing is I'm a bit wary about Bethesda games when they first come out. You know, it's like when I had that Skyrim day one and it was clunky as hell. We had to wait for them updates to come. So I've heard like, was it IGN gave it a 7? They gave it a 7, which I thought was wow, but everyone else has given it really high scores. So yeah, I'm just a bit. That's why I've got when half term comes up, I might sneakily download it and get on it. But I'm just worried because I think it's, as he said, started slow. But I personally wouldn't buy a Series X for it. So that's a shame to hear.
Okay. So I have been at Mr. Jarvis. How are we doing, good sir? So I have been playing. I started and finished Blade Runner Remastered. Loved the game on the PC back in the day, so I was really excited to dive into this. And again, I went in knowing that it wasn't going to be the most beautiful game in the world, purely because I've already read the reviews and a lot of people online sort of said that it's not up to par. And yeah, in terms of a remaster, it's not. It's weird. It looks exactly the same as it did on PC, which you sort of wouldn't expect from a remaster. I'd kind of expect it to look a bit more shiny, but it's still the same Blade Runner game. It plays really well with a controller, which is great because it means I could just sit back on the couch and enjoy it. The story was just as fun as I remembered it. I'm sure there's going to be another couple of playthroughs just to try and get some of those different endings. And it's bizarre, isn't it? Because you think about games in today where they say, oh, your choices matter, your choices deviate the game. And sometimes they just really don't. This was one of those games where it really did matter. It kind of makes it hard to follow like a walkthrough for if you get stuck and you've chosen a particular path, it's very difficult to figure out where you could be. So it really is a proper old school point and click game. So I'd recommend it if you're a Blade Runner fan or a fan of the original. If you're not a Blade Runner fan, you don't like point and click, you're going to hate this one. So avoid it. But I thought it was great, really good fun. I've recently managed to get hold of Quake on PS5, managed to get hold of the physical one because I did manage to get a pre-order in for the physical for Quake 2. So I've been playing the hell out of that. That is a remaster done right. All the original graphics, all the original pixels, yet it runs butter smooth. Everything is pin sharp, but it's just the original graphics, which is incredible. It looks and plays so much fun. And I've decided I'm going to go back to The Witcher now that my Final Fantasy 16 has now finished. So I am now going to dive back into The Witcher as well, try and finish up my second playthrough of that on the PS5. So
wow, that's some going, that Witcher game.
It's
Got some money. It's worth. Got your money's worth, haven't you?
well, considering all I had to do was put the PS4 disc into my PS5, and I would have had the free update, and yet I had to go and buy the fucking PS5 disc because.
Shit.
But it does have all the DLC on it, and I didn't buy the DLC for the PS4,
okay.
so it does have all of that on there as well, which just runs seamlessly into the game as well. You can just go off and start doing those quests and missions as and when. So yeah, so I'm gonna do as much as I can in The Witcher this time, because this will be probably my final time I play Witcher 3. It's a bit of an investment, but it's good. It's very good. Yeah, so that's sort of where we're at. I'm hoping by the time we come to the next mod cons, I will have picked up Lies of P, and I'll have started playing that, because that is something I am eagerly anticipating.
Ooh, when does that come out? Because that's on Game Pass, isn't it? So I'll be playing that straight away.
I think it's out. It's either out or it's very, very soon. It's either out or very.
Don't you think it's
very
out?
Soon.
Yeah, is it? Oh, look
Look out, Tim.
I thought I didn't think it was out yet. I keep on keeping an eye on it. It says I downloaded it for pre-install.
When's the release date for it? I'm sure it was either out now or it's imminent, like really imminent.
Let's see. It says tomorrow. It says September 19th.
It's about as imminent as it gets.
Yeah, boom.
So yeah, can't wait to try that.
There I was saying, I'm gonna stick with Hogwarts until it's finished, and then Lies of P comes out tomorrow. Like, I might give that a try and see if it steers me away from Hogwarts.
I think it might.
Out.
A Soulsborne
belly armor out the bin.
A Soulsborne styled game set in a weird alternative Pinocchio universe. I mean, sign me up. Sign me up.
Good. I don't know if that would have been on my radar if it wasn't for you sort of talking about it. It's like, I'll have a look at the trailer. It's like, yeah, actually, this looks like it could be pretty decent. So
it looks amazing.
You got that on my radar.
Can't wait. Okay. Mr. Blunners, load us up with our first topic. So, first topic we're going to discuss this evening is Gamescom 2023. It was a bit of a doozy. Have we got a list of all the bits and bobs that were announced that we can run through?
So what I've got on here is there's a long-awaited Diablo 4 Season 2 trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we've got any fans of Diablo 4. Also, a Tekken 8 release date.
What is the release date for that?
It is the 20. Just let me double check this. It is. Here it is. It is January the 26th, 2024.
Well, okay, so January. Okay, I thought that was going to come this year.
So you're out of luck if you're on PS4 and Xbox One. It is says it's only going to be on like the high-end consoles.
That's a good thing though, because I know that. Yeah, I think it's a good thing because we're getting to that point in the generation. We're 3 years in now. I know that the oldest, the PS5 and the Series X were difficult to get hold of. You can now get hold of them quite readily. So I think it's time to cut that tie now and just let's just go all in and let's just start moving forward now. We're 3 years in. Let's just get it going.
Yeah. Also, there was new Cyberpunk 2077, the Phantom Liberty DLC. There was new gameplay trailer showed of that, which obviously I know you and Dorbs loved your Cyberpunk. I've bought it, but I still haven't actually managed to play it properly yet. It's
something that I will absolutely go back in for and reinstall on the PS5. Do the PS5 update for the DLC. I might even try and go for a platinum trophy, start again right from the beginning, pick a different class, see where I go with it because it's. Yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I know some people said it was buggy and blah 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 blah. I thoroughly enjoyed it despite some of the bugs. So looking forward to seeing what that looks like on a
You then got after that you got The Crew. Basically, it's coming out 14th of September. Basically, their Forza Horizon 5 style title from Ubisoft.
I think Mag in the chat is going to be streaming that tonight. So when people are done here, if you want to see the latest Crew game being streamed, head on over to Middle Aged Gamer Guy's channel on Twitch because he will be. I think he's streaming that tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I'll be.
I've played like I played the Crew. I think I played the first one years ago, but for me, Forza, you can't beat Forza Horizon basically. But I'm glad there was someone trying to give it a run for its money. But
Yeah.
that's the benchmark for me.
Forza Horizon, they're great games. I'd never played The Crew, but it would be great to have a styled game like that on PlayStation that I could sort of pick up and get into, because the new Forza Horizons look great. I just don't have a Series X, so
No. And then Alan Wake remaster hitting PS in July. Alan Wake 2, sorry, is
Yeah.
releasing in October, of course. So they showed you a new trailer of that.
do you know, we talked about this a little bit the last time. I know that they're going digital only for this game. There's going to be no physical release for it. I still find that very unlikely. I still think at some point there's going to be a physical release for this, whether that's through someone like Limited Run or Strictly Limited or something. I don't know. I can see there being a physical version of this. I don't think it's. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm going to be totally wrong. But I think limiting it to a digital only thing is going to hinder the sales. I don't know. Maybe it's just me in my little bubble of physical media, but
yeah, I think you are right. I think it could do because the problem I'm a bit pissed off because I had to buy Bumfrush Cyberpunk and they're now bringing that out physical. So I was like, fuck, do I now double dip? Do you know what I mean? It's just frustrating, like you say. Like originally, that was the only way of getting it, so that was the reason why I bought it. And now they're going to bring it out physical, like you say, and you want to have that physical copy because, like Nintendo and all other companies do, once that Switch goes, that game's gone if you lose it. So it's better to have it on the disc.
I completely agree. And even if it's broken, it's still a version of the game that's playable.
100%.
But we shall have to see on that.
This one here, RoboCop. I'm not sure when RoboCop's out. I have to look that up because that looks very good as well.
November.
Oh, November.
I don't know when in November, but yeah, it's November, and that looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll be interested to see with Tekken. Is it 8 they're on now? Tekken 8 is coming out. In Jan. Because I did get Tekken 7, but I got it when it was like on a Games with Gold deal, and it doesn't feel like Tekken to me anymore. It feels like after they did the Tekken versus Street Fighter series, it feels a lot less 3D. You know what I mean? It feels like it tries to keep you on that single like plane a lot more, and the control systems are a bit different. And we also got Mortal Kombat 1, isn't it, coming out as well? And I really like Tekken, or I like Mortal Kombat, but with modern fighting games, they are victim to this thing of just you get DLC characters instead of unlocking them. I always used to like on the old fighting games having to beat the game with each character to unlock new stuff for them to get new characters. And now it feels like the only way to unlock characters in fighting games is to buy them, and that's just never really sat well with me. As good as games might be, it's I quite like what Mortal Kombat have done. To be fair, where it's like, okay, you can download, the Terminator or RoboCop or Freddy Krueger, and like they're getting you to download like characters from different franchises that are outside of Mortal Kombat. So I get that's kind of a clever way of doing it, but getting you to have to pay extra to get characters which were typically known for being in the game, I find a bit off. Like you're paying, full price for a game, then you have to buy all this. Like, how much is it for the full amount of game? I think with Tekken 7, I bought a deal which was the full platinum, everything you could get, and it was £100, I think, marked down to like £15. So I was like, well, 15 quid, that's a no-brainer. I'm just going to buy that for 15 quid. And I swear, like some of the characters in there, it's like I wouldn't have paid a £5 or whatever it is per character to take it up to 100 quid. It just seems a bit extortionate for me. But and I'm a big Tekken fan. And for me, I was just like, no, I just can't justify it, even though I'm a really big fan of the franchise. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with 8. Now it's on like next gen. Will they still go down the route of we'll sell you the game, but you have to buy everything in it?
Yeah,
it's ruining, isn't it? It's ruining. Okay.
It's difficult because it's some people saying it's like they're not releasing a full game, whereas for some of it, I think no, they are releasing a full game. Like Cyberpunk, for instance, there's hundreds of hours worth of gameplay there if you want it. These additional bits are just new stories to kind of tell within the game that you've already got. When it's something like a fighting game or a sports game or something like that, then it does feel a bit cheap when there's DLC, because it's like, but it's fighting, it's football, it's whatever it is that you're playing. What else do I get? And it's like, oh, characters. You're like, oh God, really?
It depends what the DLC is off the time. And I think one of my favorite DLCs I got a while back was on Resident Evil 7, because it wasn't just like a continuation of the game. It was almost like bonus games. There's a separate story we played as the character. They had like the escape room challenge thing. They had like the horde mode kind of thing with waves of enemies. So the stuff you got from the DLC was a completely separate series of games, all within the same, franchise and mechanics and world of that game. But it wasn't just you can play the game up until a point, but if you want to play the final chapter, you have to buy it. Like it was a completely separate thing. So as long as you've got it where it's reasonable to have something different, it's okay. But yeah, I think fighting games, like I say, sports stuff like that as well. I think one of the worst ones for me was one of the Injustice games. I was playing with somebody and they'd got the Turtles download, so you can play as like Leonardo and stuff. They're saying actually Leonardo has got a further reach than most characters. So if someone's bought Leonardo, they actually have an unfair advantage in the game, because with his swords, he's got really long reach. So the character is actually better than the people that you don't pay for. So you're buying a character which is like over-skilled compared to other people you can get in the game. And that just seems even worse to me. It's like, well, the people that have paid for the extra character are going to have a better chance of winning. Like, what's up with that? There's no even playing field.
I'm saying it's crazy. There's a brand new NBA 2K game come out. The graphics are unbelievable. It looks amazing. My son bought the last one dirt cheap. And I looked at a review of it, and within 2 minutes, the guy says something. He basically says, this game is brilliant, but you have to buy your way to make your player any good. So I was like, what the hell is going on?
So I think those sorts of games, the base game should be free if they're doing that. They should go, right, you know what, if you want, Tekken 8 is going to be free to play with in-game purchase, and you can get a set of characters for free. Everyone else you have to pay as you go. Or if you want to buy new costumes for characters, or buy different things for your profile, then you buy them all. And I'm sure they'll make loads of money with people buying all the extra DLC stuff. But to pay full price for a game and then have to buy in-game purchase on top,
60 quid.
it's just never really. Yeah, it's not like it's a cheap. If it was a bit cheaper, like, you know what, it's a 30 quid game, and then you can spend another 30 quid on some DLC. So if you're willing to pay 60, you get the full game. But it's not. It's 60 quid for the base game, then all the DLC. So hey,
there you go.
Well, here we go. Was impressed. Okay, and wasn't expecting much. Okay, so yeah, like to hear more. Like to hear more.
No, Tim
your
loves
Tekken 8 experience.
Tim loves this Tekken, so for him,
I do. I mean, I wasn't wowed by Tekken 7. I played it and it's like, it was all right. I prefer to play Tekken 3, to be honest, than Tekken 7. Tekken 3, I think, is when it peaked for me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is. We could go on forever. I think about how they're ruining modern games with modern franchises with their various elements. But how did we even get onto that topic? That was a good deviation. Was it Alan Wake? There we go. It's Alan Wake's fault.
Yeah.
Alan Wake's fault.
So next,
Nintendo Direct. So I think for me, this snuck in from nowhere. I genuinely wasn't sure when they said, "Oh, there's going to be another Nintendo Direct." You're like, "Really? We've just had one." Like, okay, fine. Well, what you gonna show me in this Nintendo Direct? And they really did bring some other things to this one. I thought, well, you've done your Mario Wonder. You've shown us Mario RPG. What else are you going to show? And I believe you have a screen there all teed up, Mr. Blunners, so that we can go through some of these. So, yeah, Mario versus Donkey Kong. So this is the
remake, isn't it?
Yeah, the one that was on
3DS?
DS.
Oh, DS. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
And it just
how long it's been.
It looks like great fun. It really does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. Nice and simple, just like it's a play on Donkey Kong, isn't it? Really, but the original Mario Brothers, the arcade game. So that looks really cool. It was really good to see a little bit more of RPG and how it runs, how it works. That's a day one pickup, isn't it? Really.
It's just the thing is we didn't really get that over here, did we? Super Mario RPG.
No. So
And
to actually have
the
a version
Americans,
of it,
yes, the Americans are all over this, whereas for us Europeans, this is like kind of new territory for us.
the first time I got to play it properly all the way through was actually on the Super Nintendo Mini, which is great, and it's a really good way to play the game because it costs about the same amount as a cartridge. But that was really, really good. So I can't wait to play that. So I'm gonna have to lean right into my screen there because it's very
so you got Detective Pikachu. So this game was announced ages ago. Detective Pikachu Returns. Obviously you had the film, you had the 3DS game, and obviously now they've stopped doing 3DS. You can tell this game looks like a 3DS game. It doesn't look very good, but hopefully, like the storyline and everything makes up for it. You got the second wave, the next wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses.
That just means we're just not going to get Mario Kart 9, are we? We're never going to get Mario Kart 9. It's just going to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe until the end of time, which is fine. It's a good game, you know. I can see why Nintendo aren't doing a Mario Kart 9 when they can milk this for as long as they can. But man, I want that Mario Kart 9 announcement.
The next one, Trombone Champ. This just looks completely weird. Did you see it, Ollie?
I did see the trailer.
I don't know what was going on with
that. It does look very, very bizarre, but the one next to it, yes, that looks phenomenal. That looks so good. Again, that's a remake, isn't it?
Yeah.
That just looks absolutely phenomenal.
Prince of Persia and Lost Crown.
I've never been big into Prince of Persia games, so you know, it's a bit of something and nothing for me.
So I quite like the more modern ones. I can't go on the originals. Go back and play the original Prince of Persia games. I can't figure out what to do, and I just get killed. So like I'll just fall down and land on some spikes and die. But I quite liked was it Sands of Time, where you could like rewind a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you're running along, and if you fell, it would like rewind time a little bit, and then you could attempt the jump again. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, there are some good Prince of Persias out there. So it'd be good to revisit that franchise again.
And the Tomb Raider remastered.
Yeah, Tomb Raider.
That looks really cool.
Is it 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
And it looks like when you're playing the games, you've got the options to actually flip between old graphics, new graphics, but it's not like a remake, so it's not a complete do-over. It's still very, even with the good graphics or the remastered graphics, it's still very blocky, which is cool. You know, I'm totally into that as an artistic style. So I would definitely be looking at picking that. Do we know if that's a Switch exclusive, or is that going to come to other systems? Do we know?
I think it's on all other systems as well. It was just the Direct that announced it for some reason.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't read some of those other ones now because it's so small.
Bundle Tale is next. Song of New. Horizon Chase 2.
Oh, that I'm all over. The original Horizon Chase Turbo is up there for me as one of the best games of the previous generation. It's such a good game. So having a sequel to that, cannot wait to get into that. That was such a good game that seemed to get overlooked by a lot of people, but obviously did all right enough to get a sequel. And then some of those massive titles just at the top there. I mean, Luigi's Mansion 2, the 3DS version on the Switch. Any excuse to play that again. That was a really good Luigi's Mansion game. It's obviously not going to look anywhere near as good as Luigi's Mansion 3, but it's a really good game. So I'm glad that's getting another little lease of life.
And you got you got the Princess Peach Showtime. Originally I heard that this was only a digital only game, like your Alan Wake. But then it came through. I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and it's come up with the box art. So obviously it's not. But it just seems a completely different game. Obviously it's like a showcase game. She's in different types. I think that's one my daughter might really like. But yeah,
I'm really excited for that because I really enjoyed Super Princess Peach on the DS. It was, albeit that was just a platformer, but but I don't think Peach gets enough sort of solo outings really at all. So to have Peach in this, really cool, quirky adventure where it's all sort of on stage, isn't it? And you play through different scenes of stage shows to get to wherever it is you're ultimately ending for. I think it looks really, really cool. So I'm always down for some more Princess Peach. The Paper Mario one there, I thought was going to tick a big box for you, Mr. Blunners.
Well, yeah, so I actually I picked up Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. It's the only one I haven't fully completed. I've got it on the GameCube. I bought it, but I just haven't got around to properly seeing it through and finishing it. And obviously, with it coming out, I will finally get the chance and I will actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've always heard that this one is the top dog. This is the Paper Mario. This is the one that they haven't been able to rekindle. So I was, to be honest with the direct, I was hoping, like when they said this was the last thing, I was hoping it was going to be that Metro Prime 4, but it wasn't in the end. So yeah. So but Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, I am quite happy to pick this up and have a look and see, and properly finish it, properly have a good go and see what it's like.
I have never played the Thousand Year Door, so this is going to be a new one for me. Luigi's Mansion 3 is the only game I played on the Switch. What was the comment for that, sorry?
Oh, sorry, it was Gold Tooth.
It's the only game I played for a while. It's a good game, though.
It is good.
It's a bloody good game. There are a lot of really good Switch games. It's just the Switch has become that system where everything goes to die. It's just got so much stuff on it that you do kind of get swamped.
I need to get some more Switch games. Where I've got like PlayStation Gold games each month, and I've got Game Pass. I don't necessarily need to buy a lot of games. I've got loads of stuff unplayed, so I don't necessarily look to buy Switch games very often. So I've only got a small collection of Switch games, but there's some good things in this lineup. I might be tempted to pick up some Switch games over the coming year.
They're saying the shadow drop of F099 out of nowhere. So as long as you're a Nintendo Online, so if you've got that service, you can get that one for free out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so that was a good shadow drop.
See, that's not a lot either, is it? How much is it for a year's worth of Switch Online?
It's 17 quid or something.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but I went. Yeah, but if you get I went for the higher one because then you get the Mario Kart DLCs all free as well.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm
tempted to go for that.
It only works out about.
Because if I did that, like rather than buying all the DLC for Mario Kart, I could just get that and see how I get on with it. But then it's just yet another subscription service for another console. I have 3 subscription services again at once. It just seems a bit much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
a lot of places are saying that they think this is coming to the end of the Switch life cycle, and they're saying that you'll be looking at about summertime next year is when we'll be looking to say goodbye to the Switch, and the successor might be on its way.
I mean, how long ago did the Switch come out? It doesn't feel to me like that older console. It still feels
17 or 18, wasn't it?
It feels quite current still to me. It doesn't feel like it's that old. But actually, consoles would come out, with that sort of time frame from like a PS2 to PS3 and things like that.
I want to say 2016. Is it 2016?
16, yeah. I think it is.
Yeah. It's older than we think. But it doesn't feel old because Nintendo always just do their own thing. And they eventually get, the Switch, because it's such a big system, like we are seeing ports of things like Hogwarts Legacy now come into Switch, albeit it will be a very much downgraded version to get it to work. But the point is you're going to be able to play Hogwarts Legacy on a Switch on the go. You can play Witcher 3 on the go. There's all these incredibly massive games that you can get and play in handheld mode. So I don't know. I don't know if phasing the Switch out is a good idea. It's on a roll. It kind of feels like you're going to be stunting it a little bit. Maybe if they're going to do a successor, maybe it's the
Switch EXT.
But I mean that for me would be the more sensible option. Release a system that is a better Switch, something that can now take the next 8 years, but not eradicate the Switch's history, because there's still some really good life left in that
system. There's a lot of rumours at the minute saying they're going to drop the OLED screen and being an LCD screen, and that obviously they don't know. They seem to think that could they produce a dock that then makes it upscale it to 4K? Because you think, what else can you really bring to a Switch that's going to make that? Because it's portable. The screen at the minute, the LED screen is amazing. Only thing a bit annoying is like the controllers that can fall off every now and then. But still, it can't really have you seen. You've got 2016 like components in there. They're 8 years old now, so to try and keep up, they've got to try and stay ahead of the curve. I can't see them. You have to, like, the form factor is there's no way that they could just bring out a home console. No way.
No,
but I think the amount they've sold, they'll have to bring out something that does take backward capability because of all the Switch games and all the Switch owners they've already got.
Mm-hmm. I think you've absolutely nailed it there. We've gone on another tangent already. I do think you've absolutely nailed it there, Blunders. Will they ever release another separate handheld device? I don't think they will. I think this is the Nintendo form factor moving forwards. A portable device that docks to your television. I think it's arguably the perfect format, really, because you've then had loads of other places. It was amazing, wasn't it? As soon as the Switch came out and it started doing really well, that's when we started getting things like Steam Deck, and then we started getting all these other, Sony trying to work on something again that wasn't the Vita, and it just really shows you that the handheld market is still absolutely enormous, and Nintendo always dominated it. So for them to have a current gen system in a portable handheld mode, I think you've nailed it, Blunders. That is, I think, going to be the future of all Nintendo systems now. So yeah, they've got to look at backwards compatibility for Switch, because otherwise it's just going to be a bit weird.
You think when you sold like 100, like that many units, you've got to try. How can you then? You've already got them owners in place, like they've done with the PS4. They've brought out this PS5, but you're still playing games that you can. They're only just now phasing out that PS4 after what was it, 4 or 5 years now? 4 years. So if they do something, they can't make it games that are just exclusive. Like somehow there's got to be something. Like, I don't know, is it a better resolution? Is it? I don't know. Like, it's a really hard thing to do, and you think you've got that many already in base that are ready to go. That's all right. He's back in. But yeah, it's
Switch VS. It's a strange one. I mean, they could just make the inside better, so make a new system so that it's going to be able to run for the next 8 years, but just take Switch games. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, on to the next one. Now, this one, this has got some big stuff in it for me. The PlayStation State of Play. We'll save the one that I know is mine and Tim's and probably yours favourite to last. But yeah, hit us with some PlayStation State of Play.
Okay, so I'll leave that one out. So they said some about new Spider-Man 2. There's some more gameplay trailer and highlights, and many spider suits. That game is just going to be unbelievable anyway.
I think it's a lot of people's most anticipated game, possibly of the year. I know Harry, if he's still in the chat there, Harry's a big Spider-Man fan anyway, so this game is going to be huge. Love all the Venom stuff that they're showing, all the little symbiote stuff in the suit, and they've managed to show just enough, but not too much. There's enough there for you to kind of be like, oh my god, this just looks great, and it really does look great.
Yeah, I think as well with the Venom story, I always find it was better in like the series and stuff in the comics, because you've got more time where Peter Parker's got the Venom symbiote. Because in the films, it's like he doesn't have it long enough. It's like he's Venom for like Act 1, then it gets ripped off of him, and then he goes until he brought. That needs to be that's a slow burn, that story. I think in the game, if with Spider-Man 1, I felt like the reason the story worked so well in it is it felt like you're playing through a Spider-Man series, not a Spider-Man movie, because it was very episodic and had all these different things going on, all these different intertwining stories. And now you've got like the jump between Miles and Peter. I think if he's got the Venom symbiote at the beginning, I'm really anticipating towards the end of the game, there's going to be a bit where he loses the symbiote and it's going to go onto one of your enemies. And then that's going to be the final chapter of the game, is you've then got to fight against the suit that you've been building up. So I'd imagine there'll be a skill tree, because obviously the other games have got skill trees of stuff you unlock. I imagine you're going to unlock a whole bunch of really cool like symbiote abilities, and then someone's going to take it off you and use all those abilities against you. That's my prediction anyway. What's going to happen?
I'm trying to stay away from like as much as I can. I've seen like the main the one they released at E3, and I'm like, yep, I'm in, and I don't want to see anymore. I want to just like witness it firsthand to myself. So when I did see that stuff come up, I didn't really want to. I was trying not to watch, but yeah, I don't want to ruin it.
I try and do the same with trailers for film, especially like Marvel films. If it's a Marvel film, and I'm going to give it a watch. So when I see Marvel trailers come on, I'm like, no, not going to watch it, because I feel like they give away too much sometimes, especially movie trailers. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch the trailer and spoil anything. I just want to go in blind. I know I'm going to watch it anyway, so I don't need a trailer to convince me to see it. So I'm just going to not watch it.
But yeah, that's going to be a big game, really big. I think that's going to sell well. So let's see how it goes.
Next was Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. So it tells Ada Wong's side of Resident Evil 4 story. So they show that off.
I still have yet to play the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's a game. I played Resident Evil 4 when it came out. Didn't play it a lot. Well, played it to completion, obviously, but it wasn't one of those games I went back and played a lot of. I know a lot of people, this is like the pinnacle of Resident Evil for them. And I have heard nothing but stunning things about the Resident Evil 4 remake. So it is something I'm going to go into. But again, I don't love it as much as other people, I don't think. This particular Resident Evil anyway.
No.
I didn't play the remake, but I think the remake came out just as I'd finished playing through the VR one. So I played the Resident Evil 4 VR version, which was excellent. And I was like, I'm happy that I just played through the VR version of the game, so I wasn't going to go back and play just a remake version.
Yeah, but you played the old version VR, didn't you? Not the new one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I presume that's the one that came. It was the one that was on Oculus, because I just had
so that's the old like 360 engine version. So that Separate Ways DLC, just while we're on it, comes out
for the remastered.
And then they're also doing a Resident Evil 4 remake for PlayStation VR 2, and that gets a winter release window.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, that will be coming out in winter, but with all the new graphics.
There needs to be some really good PS2 VR stuff to tempt me to pick up the PSVR 2, because I would like to one day get one, but I've not long ago bought the PS5. I want to spread the cost a bit.
500 quid for your VR 2.
Yeah. It is a pretty penny. So there's gonna need to be something that really pulls me in. I have deliberately not played Resident Evil Village because I want the first time I play that to be in VR. I don't want to go in not knowing what's going to happen, so I can play it in VR for the first time. And I really want to play that because I'd love Resident Evil 7. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to play it until I can play it in VR. So yeah, we'll see.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Next was Avatar. They showed a bit more of a new trailer, the upcoming open world game. Frontiers of Pandora.
I'm kind of into that. I know I'm probably in the minority, but I like the Avatar movies. Thought the new one was a visual spectacle. I'd quite happily play an open world game set in Pandora. So colour me interested.
Yeah. Next was some new game plates that you can get. The red and the blue one that's coming out.
I quite like the red one. Is it silver?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, all I'll say is,
why would you get a silver one? It just looks like a PlayStation. It just looks. It looks like it looks like the platinum version of the PS5.
Volcanic red, cobalt blue, sterling silver.
All I will say is,
covers.
if they are going to bring out different colours, could they not have also brought out different shapes? Because I still think it looks terrible. You're going to bring out a red one that's not that weird shape. I'd be interested, but no, not fussed about a new colour.
I would like a new controller. I think then I can have a controller on charge all the time. So maybe I'll get a red one. I like those red controllers. They look pretty sweet.
Another one for that VR2 that Timbo wants, Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. Is that next month for PlayStation VR2?
I could be very interested in that because that Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed is a fantastic game. I didn't think I would like it because I didn't think I'd enjoy the cartoony graphics, but that is phenomenal. So to have something in first person, count me in. I don't care whether it's hyper realistic or super cartoony. I just don't care because it just works. Everything Ghostbusters works, and it works really well as a first person shooter game. So I'm all in on that.
Yeah. Next one, Helldivers 2, the new trailer. This looks phenomenal. They reckon it's not going to be out until at least the 8th of February 2024.
Okay.
The next one is Foam Star, so that's like a Splatoon 2 Splatoon ripoff. There's an open beta coming from the September 29th, and it'll finish on October the 1st.
I'll be interested to play it, but like you say, it reeks of Splatoon, and Splatoon is so good. It's when that came out, I think everyone was like, "Why would I play this?" And then you play it, and you're like, "Oh, that's why." So to have a Splatoon-inspired game on I don't know.
Do you think it's because of how well it's done in Japan, Splatoon?
Maybe.
Because it's probably like #1 game out there. So.
It's so good. It's easily one of the best multiplayer experiences. It's such a good game.
So that for me might be why Sony have then thought, you know what, we want a chunk, we want a bit of this pie. We'll create our own one.
Many people attempted to mimic Super Smash Brothers, but it's just never been the same, has it? There's quite a few games like, what was that? There's a PlayStation one, wasn't there? The PS3, something All Stars or something. It's like basically Super Smash Brothers, but not as good. I don't think I've even ever played it.
And then what Harry puts, where is GTA 6?
I mean,
leaks and
we at least know it's coming. It's not like Mario Kart 9 where it's just it's nowhere. But yeah, GTA 6, we know it's on the way. I'm intrigued by the premise as well, have it being like a Bonnie and Clyde sort of type relationship. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm quite excited by GTA 6. I think they're taking their time. They've definitely had enough time to announce it, especially seeing as GTA 5 is on every system going.
I was talking about that because my son wants it, and he's like, "Oh, I really want to play GTA. I want to." And I was like, "George, I went to a midnight release at Blockbuster for that game for the PS3. I've still got it somewhere around here." I was like, "And that game? How is that game still going?" I remember I remember playing the online, and it was shit. It didn't work. It was like kept kicking you out. You couldn't do anything. It was like, and now look at it. It's absolutely unbelievable. The fact that it's still going strong.
It's a big behemoth. Big behemoth. Yeah, GTA 6, let's go.
And then the last one was what you literally wanted to talk about, and that is this one. So Dorbs Turn Away Now.
Final Fantasy Rebirth. Oh my god. The trailer for this game. Oh, Jesus. I messaged my friend Dan the morning after, and he messaged me and was like, I just can't get enough of this trailer. And I completely agree. It's just so good. It's so good. I cannot wait to see how this continues the story. I know we were talking earlier, Tim, before we went live about, for me, it was game of the PS4 generation, and I know you were sort of not totally enamored by it. I just can't wait. Seeing some of the characters, and just seeing some of those interactions, and just seeing what they're going to do this time. How are they going to change it a little bit? Because they have altered things now. So spoiler alert. I mean, the game's old now, really, but it is kind of like J.J. Abrams' version of Star Trek. There's like a branch off. So the original Final Fantasy VII still exists. It's just this is a different timeline, and I'm really enjoying that because it's giving them a bit of license to take the original story, turn it on its head, do their own thing with the characters, change it around a little bit without ruining Final Fantasy VII. So I'm very excited to see how this runs this time. And of course, I had to get the pre-order in for this version because just look at that Sephiroth statue. Look at that. Who doesn't want that other than Dorbs?
Goldtooth, apparently, he's out. He's gone.
He's out.
He's like, no, I'm done.
Oh, man. Shocking.
So what do you actually get on this? You get that steel case, CD, soundtrack, box art,
the art book, and the statue. And the statue will be a decent size. So with the collector's edition for Final Fantasy VII Remake, it came with a PlayArts Cloud figure and his motorbike, which was enormous. The whole thing was absolutely enormous. And then it came with the deluxe version of Final Fantasy VII, which you could buy separately. So it had the soundtrack or a version of the soundtrack, steelbook, the game, and all this sort of stuff. But it just came with these extra bits. So this will be the extra bits for this will probably be the art book and the Sephiroth statue. But the statue just looks so good. Can't not have it. It's got to be done. I'd be interested to see whether or not it actually sells out pre-order wise. This is it for me. This is going to be not peaking in PS5 era, but it's definitely going to be a turning point, I think, because I think this game, I don't know whether it's going to have an install disc, but either way, it's running off of 2 discs. So that's already got me very excited, thinking it's going to be big.
I mean, I'm definitely, in the long haul. It's Final Fantasy VII, so I'm going to be getting it. Like I said, with the previous remake on the 4, I didn't enjoy it. It was very good. What was there, I enjoyed. I just felt it was a bit short. I didn't take me long to finish it. And, I just felt like all the additional stuff they added in, with the exception of a few bits, I think you got to spend a bit more time with, Jesse, Biggs and Wedge. There's some cool moments in there. But then there's a lot of other bits which I felt were just filler that dragged out. I don't know, I don't know what it was about it that just didn't resonate with me compared to the. I'd much rather play the original still with that. So this one, I'm hoping it will kind of build a bit on it. Obviously, from the point in the game where you leave Midgar, there's a lot more story to tell. There's a lot more locations to visit. So I'm excited to go and visit all those locations with like PS5 graphics to walk around places like Cosmo Canyon, the Gold Saucer.
Mate, just get me to that Gold Saucer.
Temple of the Ancients, all these different areas, fighting weapon. Like, there's going to be some great things in there. So hopefully they've done a good job with it. We've been waiting long enough, for this. So let's see what they've done with it. But
that little
try and manage my expectations.
That weapon tease in the trailer was just, oh God, oh, it looks good. There's enough in that second trailer to just wet the whistle, I think, of every Final Fantasy fan, specifically Final Fantasy VII anyway. It just looks absolutely bananas. Oh, yes, here we go. See, it's just this element as well, the fact that Zack is supposedly still about, or it's just...
I wonder how they're doing that.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. It's just... everything. Good evening, Mr. Rager. How are we doing?
Hello.
Yeah, so we've got all of the elements. That clearly Cosmo Canyon there as well.
Yeah.
It just looks.
I wonder how they're going to do it with like the continuation from the previous games. Obviously, is it going to carry on from is it going to check your save file or anything like that, or is it just going to be because you're just starting a new game, aren't you? So I guess it's going to have. Are you going to already have a bunch of material with you and things like that? I don't know how they're going to manage it.
Oh, look at it. It just looks amazing.
Graphically, it just looks phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Casey just looks great. Just all of it just looks so cool. just going around there on a Segway. It's
is that Hojo?
It does look a lot like Hojo.
Yeah, it's going to be Hojo. Yeah.
So I think I've seen this trailer approximately 1 million times, and every time I watch it, I still just see something else.
The Midgar Zolom. Yeah, Oh, and that's the boss from the bit before Junior when you got pipe. Yeah,
It's just everything. It's just ticking a lot of boxes, and I'm presuming that area that you keep sort of seeing with the sort of wide scape is the world map, because it's just singing world map to me. So yeah, it's just that. Just wait until you see the little element that's got the weapon in it. It's a really long trailer, to be fair, as well. It's like
I mean, you can probably tell from our reactions like how much you watch this shit. Yeah,
a bit of gold saucer in there. Get me to that gold saucer, and you see the fighting game.
Yes, talk about racing. Yeah,
look at the fighting game.
Oh yeah. And
you've got the motorbike racing as well. Just the real Segway Simulator, correct. Oh man. Just get to that weapon. There we go.
I always thought weapon was a really cool addition to the game. You've got so many elements already with like Shinra and Sephiroth and all the stuff that's going on with Meteor, and then you throw in a weapon. It's like, I just thought it was a really cool thing to include.
It's such a cool thing, just like to protect the planet. Well worth watching with the audio, Tim. So when this is done, definitely go and go watch it with the audio, because it's something special. It is something special. And I think
that is all of that, right?
That closes out the PlayStation. So we will quickly round into PS Plus Games of the Month. We won't bother with Games of Gold because no one else does. Or is it finished now? Is it done? Is it finished? Is it finished?
Right.
Games with Gold needs to die.
It needs to die. It's just sad at this point, isn't it?
So fire it up. What have we got for PS Plus this month?
We've got Saints Row.
Okay. I didn't get to play that, and so I'll definitely do that for free.
Black Desert Trailer Edition. Don't know what that is. It says here an open world.
Yeah, I think it's an MMO.
Yeah, MMO.
I remember it looking pretty special. It depended upon whether or not I've got to pay to play it. I don't know. Or does it say there whether or not you've got to pay?
It says here PlayStation Plus members can also download the Black Desert Trailer item pack to assist their adventure.
Okay.
And then the other one is Generation Zero,
which I don't know much about.
It's nice, set in Sweden. Once your peaceful home has been overrun by mysterious, deadly machine enemies, you must choose your battles wisely to engage in this intense guerrilla combat against mechanical forces, or you take them on solo or together, up to 3 friends. So it seems like you can go online with that one as well.
Okay, intriguing.
Saints Row is the main one on there, but them other two don't sound alright, don't they?
Yeah, indeed it does. Sorry, I was just having a quick scroll through the comments there, just because it's just bizarre having to do this all on my phone today without a mouse, and I can't see the chat in a separate bar. I feel like I've been disconnected from the chat this evening. I've not enjoyed not seeing the chat.
It's been out for ages.
I think I first saw it when it came to Xbox. But as long as I've not got to pay to play it, I will definitely give it a go, because it did look very cool. So exciting stuff. I think has that brought us to the end?
That's brought us to the end.
Yeah.
That has brought us to the end.
I did see one question earlier, which I starred because I didn't get a chance to answer it, so we're moving on. He's probably gone now because he started talking about Final Fantasy 7. We want to say, have I played with a joystick or controller? I have to say, we're talking about fighting games this time. I have to say, if it's a fighting game, I much prefer a controller where you can do like the curls for fireballs and stuff on a D-pad. It's much more comfortable. I really struggle with a joystick to do the like fireball motions and stuff in Street Fighter. So if it's a fighting game, I do prefer a controller, but if it's anything else on an arcade cabinet, it's always fun to have an arcade cabinet, isn't it? Play with the joystick and buttons. But when it comes to fighting games, I struggle to actually successfully put in the commands for special moves.
So it's easier to curl it out on a controller.
It is, yeah. I think so.
Curl one out.
Excellent. Well, the chat I think has been very busy this evening. I've seen the numbers constantly go up with people that are interacting. So thank you very much, everyone who has joined us live and thrown things into the chat. Absolutely, Gib. That Sephiroth statue is to die for. So cannot wait. But yes, thank you everyone for joining live. Thank you again for making the chat an entertaining place. I will go back and rewatch this, I think, when it hits up and see what the chat was doing. If you found us through the weird YouTube algorithm, the almighty algorithm, and have enjoyed what you've heard, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. As always, give the video a little cheeky thumbs up so that we know that you've been here. There's been a lot to talk about here, and I'm sure there's going to be even more to talk about by the time we get to the next mod cons. We do have some guests coming up. I don't think I'm not allowed to say any of these because I've booked them. So there we go. But we've got Tess from her Blonde Logically Gaming channel coming on. I don't think that's next week. It might be next week. I'll double check. I've put it in Trello. And I will save the other one that we've booked because that's not until October. But there's definitely going to be a couple of guests coming on. And we're edging closer and closer to that, securing that first date for Consultation Zone. So we are getting there. Things are in motion. Things are moving. Yeah, just thank you everyone who has joined us live. And if you're watching this back, continue discussions in the chat. Chuck in there. Have I moved in with Lenny Henry? I mean, you would think I possibly have. I am. I'm staying at Lenny Henry's gaff for the next couple of nights. Away with work, unfortunately. But yes, not my usual background. But yes, so I look forward to being back in my home and being able to stream from the comfort of my little room there. But yeah, just thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's been a lot of fun with you guys, and we shall see you all very soon.
I'm trying to wave my green screen's come off my hand. So
Yeah.
Awkward wave.